A lot of you may have seen the trailer for the reveal of Project Luminous, and it is in fact Star Wars: The High Republic. In this video, I will explain what the High Republic is, what pieces of Star Wars media we're going to see out of this era, and what potential we could see moving forward after this originally planned space of books. Star Wars: The High Republic will be an era that will be primarily explored in novels, comics, and children's books. There are currently no movies or TV series announced within this era. The idea here is that this will be a big series of books written with heaps of different writers all collaborating to make one cohesive story. These writers will include such known names as Claudia Gray and Charles Soule, who have worked extensively in the Star Wars universe, or at least in the novels already. The era itself is set 200 years before the events of The Phantom Menace, and it will show the rise of the Jedi and the Republic. The Republic does not span the entire galaxy at this time, and doesn't nearly have the amount of power that it does have in the movie series. The Jedi are not soldiers as they were in the Clone Wars. Here we will truly see them as the peacekeepers that we've always heard them being described as. We will see them roaming the galaxy doing just that, keeping the peace. However, the trailer suggests that we will see some sort of threat come to the Jedi. We know that they will be facing off against the bordering nations, I guess, of the Republic, the bordering pieces of control. We know they'll go up against bounty hunters and smugglers, but this new threat is likely something a bit more mystical, or luminous, if you will. So, we will see what that is in the future, but it's likely that it'll be something to do with the dark side. I highly doubt it has anything to do with the Sith. The Sith won't come in until The Phantom Menace when Darth Maul reveals himself, but I think it's likely that we will see some whispers of the Sith. As we know, the Sith have been around for thousands of years, hiding with the rule of two, so there is a good chance that we will see some Sith around, but the Jedi won't know about them. So if a Sith does reveal themselves to a Jedi, that Jedi will almost certainly be killed. As for the future of this project, I can see a series or even potentially a movie being set in this time. There haven't been any announcements of such things, but I think if the books are successful, then it's very likely that they will make a movie within this era. How cohesive it will be with the books is sort of up in the air. Again, the idea of these books is that it's a very collaborative experience between all of these writers to make one story. If a movie was to come into play, I don't know if they would make that a part of that one collaboration, or if more so that would be a separate entity. I think that's more so down the road. I think that's after this planned series of books and comics and things. I think if they were to ever do a movie or a TV series within this time, it would be well after they'd finished writing the original story of this era and what they are planning right now. With that being said, however, this story is of course absolutely canon and will almost definitely be referenced in content that's based in a later time period. I think we are getting a rumoured Rebels sequel, and that, for example, could very much tie into this, where they talk about old stories of the High Republic. Wouldn't it be cool to see someone in that era, what we're used to, or at least the sequel era, exploring a tomb or something that we've seen in the High Republic era, and we see the aftermath of what we saw in this time, but we're seeing a relic of it 250 odd years later. And this also has the potential to tie into things that we already know. For example, Yoda is 900 years old, and he's likely been a Jedi for a good amount of those 900 years, and this is only 200 years back, so there's a good chance that Yoda will be a Jedi Master, or somewhat involved in the Jedi, and there's a good chance we will see him in this series. However, I doubt he will be a main character of sorts. I think they want to tell their own story. I think they want a blank slate, but I think it's a very high possibility that he will be somewhat within this Jedi Order. I am pretty sure he was a Jedi for most of his life, which would mean he would be around. We might see some Jedi younglings go for the Gathering, and we might see that droid that said that he'd been traveling with younglings to the Gathering for 1,000 years. So many of these little things we could see because we know it happened 200 years ago, but to actually see it happen in that time period would be really interesting. Personally, however, what I'm most excited to see is just a new story in a new era. The good thing about this 200 years earlier prequel type thing is that these writers have a completely blank slate. They can do whatever they want. There's no rules to abide by in terms of continuity because they are creating almost an entirely new continuity. And it's going to be really interesting also just to see the, I guess, older look, how they will design this world that we know but 200 years earlier. I think this has great potential. I think it's going to be really cool to see, and I can't wait to start seeing this stuff in August of this year. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, please hit that like button. It would be much appreciated. And even more so, if you enjoyed this video and want to see more content, then do feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm making as much content as I can. I know the content is varying in different types, but you know, I like having that freedom to be able to do a bunch of random things. I've got a new YTP coming out this week, which I know you guys really, really like. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great day.